Hello everyone, thank you for joining and thank you for participating, registering. We are glad that uh, I think most of you must have already received your UINs, your confirmation emails. I'm not able to see who all have joined, but if there is anyone who has not received their confirmation, please do send a mail to mara@wri.org. Also, you can post in the Q&A here and we will look into the issue. But once again, thank you for everything, showing your interest in the competition. We have already received a few queries from some of the teams, and we will start answering them. If you have any other queries, clarifications, please feel free to post them on the Q&A. And we may also have one of the jury members join us later in the event uh, for a one-on-one conversation on what a public space is, what is his expectation from the competition, and so on and so forth. So we received one question from Team Mignic. Arthi has sent a question. Will you give us the site plan or are we supposed to prepare them? So we have already provided you with the survey drawings in the site documentation folder that we have shared with all of you. Each site has its own survey drawing, which is a total station survey. You can refer that as your site as a base plan. Um, the second question they have asked is for the first stage, are we required to do the site study? So yes, you are required to do the site study. That's the activity mapping written in the submission guidelines. Based on the drones, photographs, walkthroughs, and other documents that we have provided in the site briefs. So since you guys cannot come to Rohtak, that's the documentation we have provided. Use those documentations, see the drone images, walkthroughs, and get used to the site and do an activity mapping. That's your site study. So yes, you have to do the site study. I hope Arthi, your team's questions have been answered. If you have any follow-up or any other questions, please do post on the Q&A. Next, we had a question from Bhumi Batra. I wanted to inquire if it's possible for me and my team member to add more members to our team. We currently are a team of two and we would love to add two more. We can, we are not encouraging people to add more team members. But if you really want to add team members, we will reach out to you separately after a week or so. Once the registration processes and the query process gets over, just send us a mail on mara.rohtak@wri.org and I'll contact you through that mail about the next steps. But in no case we would encourage you to change your team leaders or the registered email IDs. That will remain constant. If you want to add a new member, I'll reach out to you. I hope that answers your question. Next, we received questions from Abhishek Luke. I hope that's the correct translation. Stage 1 PDF is file exceeding 25. Does this mean we have a choice of presenting our submitted sheets or add extra work regarding the proposal in our presentation? Also, during the presentation, are the teams allowed to show their faces? That's the first question. So the presentation is stage 3. Only if you qualify for stage 3 will you be showing us the presentation, submitting the presentation here. Right now, on 21st November, you need to submit only the conceptual drawings and notes. So please refer to the submission guidelines for stage 1, and you are required to only submit what is asked for the stage 1 submission as of now. Once you are shortlisted and you reach to stage 2, then you are shortlisted, you reach stage 3. That is when you will be required to give the presentation. With regards to the design template, so the second question is there any pre-designed template for submission of sheets, or the teams can design their own sheet templates? So you are allowed to design your own templates. There is no template given by the organizers. Just please make sure that there are no marks or identification names, team names, UIN, nothing should be there on your sheets. Your sheets should only have the content related to the design that you're submitting. Do we just have to mention our UIN on our submission sheets, or have the choice of mentioning our team name, member's name, and other details as well? No, you don't have to put anything inside the sheet. The file name, if you go to the submission guidelines, I'll ask my teammate to put the link to the submission guidelines in the Q&A box. Please go through those submission guidelines. We have provided a file nomenclature, how you should name your submissions. They should be a single PDF. It should be named in a particular way. And I'm emphasizing on this fact because our systems are automated. If you do not follow the instructions given in the submission guidelines, your submissions will not reach us. So please follow those guidelines. Only mention your UIN in the file name as described in the instructions. There should be no UIN, team name, member's name, any mark or anything inside the sheets. I'm getting a few more questions in the Q&A that I'll answer after I finish the question we have already received. Next, we received questions from Let's Make a Place team, MAP Studio. So you have selected site 1 and 6. For site 1, you have asked what are the current public/shared transport means in the area? Is there any alternate mobility planned? So the predominant mode in the city as well as at this site is shared auto rickshaws. There are few buses that run on the Delhi Rohtak road, but there is no alternate mobility planned as of now. The second question you asked is, are the number of cars given per hour per day? Can adjacent vacant plots be used for parking? So in the PSS, in the public space survey that we have provided, the car numbers are actually the count of vehicles at the time of the survey. So the number of cars that were parked at that location when the survey was being done, that is the number that we have provided. And the adjacent vacant lots cannot be used as parking because they are private lands. Any reference to calculate traffic volume on site? I think you can refer to common comprehensive mobility plans of Rohtak. These are very old, but the most latest numbers would be through drones and walkthroughs. You can go through those and get a sense of what the traffic volume is. Any street hawkers/seasonal market in the area? Yes, again, these are also all the street hawkers and seasonal markets have been documented in the site brief. So please read that. You will get a sense of what informal markets are present at the site. For site 6, the questions are, is there a future expansion of shops planned for Plaza 3, which is the vacant plot? As of now, there is no expansion planned. There has been no communication from the government that they would be expanding. current regulations about alcohol consumption in public areas means to curb the activity. So that is again standard for the entire country. I think that public drinking is not allowed. Uh, Defaulters would face fines up to 50,000 rupees and imprisonment up to 6 months. But that is what the law says. It's a lack of enforcement because of which public drinking is prevalent there. So the law exists, but the enforcement does not happen. Any street hawkers and seasonal markets, again, please refer to the site brief that has also been documented for this site as well. Next, we have from DN Studio Collaborative. So for Medical Road, you have asked the photographic documentation carried for the street doesn't appear to be complete. Therefore, can you please share the additional images for the same? I think so. The photographs that we have provided are for the before and after images that you have to give to us. There are other photographs. There should be a folder documenting the sites. Please refer to that, and also use the drones and the walkthroughs for whatever else you want to find in the site. But whatever is provided in the site brief folder, that is all we have for the for each site. The medical road is accompanied by the green belt plus existing parking area where there is a proposal for traffic park. Should the same belt be considered for designing for various land use, or is it restricted and should not be considered in designing? So please consider the total station survey drawing that has been shared with you, and you need to design the ROW, the right of way, the space between the building lines. The lands outside of the ROW, their ownership would vary. Some are government land, some are private land. So I would recommend not designing beyond the ROW. Please consider only the right of way for your designs. Every site, okay. There was, I think, one question on how many sheets we have. If you have selected multiple sites, how many sheets can you submit? So if you have selected multiple sites, then each site will be considered as a separate entry. And the submission guidelines that we have provided will be applicable to each of the selected sites. So if you are saying that in stage 1, you are required to submit 3 A3 sheets and you have selected 2 sites, then that would mean for site 1, you need to submit 3 A3 sheets, and for site 2, you need to submit 3 A3 sheets. So each site is a different entry. Okay, for Kila Road, the same thing has asked. There appears to be residential units along the Kila Road, commercial at ground level and residential on top. Is there any parking provision done for the same? Also, as mentioned in the brief, that during the festivals, the street is pedestrianized. So, what is the provision done for parking for these residential units? Right. So the administration has demarcated the entire market as a no parking area, but due to lack of enforcement, parking does happen there. During festival times, this enforcement happens. So vehicles are not even allowed to enter the market. The residents who are living adjacent to the market or on top of the commercial spaces, they enter the area through other roads. And there is also a, a vacant plot of, it's called the Bhagat Singh Park, where visitors are, they usually park their vehicles at that location during festival times. With regards to Double Park Road, the photographic documentation carried for the street doesn't appear to be complete for the Gold Market. Therefore, can you please provide additional images? Again, please use the drones and the walkthroughs. And if you want, you can take a screenshot or extract the images from there. But whatever has been provided in the site briefs is all we have for the sites. Should the Gold Market Park be included in the design proposal? Yes, it is part of the site. You need to include that in your proposal. So these were the questions that we had received beforehand. Apart from that, we just received a question from Rashi. We had a query that if the mentioned 3 A3 sheets in the submission requirement include all work as in concept and images, or we need to work on 3 other sheets. Okay, now I would request. Okay, I think Drishti has already answered this question. What is activity mapping? Green or brownfield development? Do you want 3D models of or AutoCAD drawings? Does it have to be an original concept, or can we take reference from some foreign concepts?
Yeah. So, hi everyone, Advait here. So I'll also answer a few questions with Vaibhav right now, all the questions that are coming in live. So the question by Purnesh is, what is activity mapping? Basically, activity mapping is the exercise where you look at all the activities that are happening on the street. Of course, yes, through the drone video that we have sent and also the voiceover that there in the drone and the walkthroughs that are there, you basically do a study of how many vendors are there, what sort of vending activity happens, what are the other on-street and off-street activities that happen. So in a simple nutshell, it's basically what is the life of the street. Of course, we do know it, and unfortunately, because of COVID, a lot of them cannot travel. And the task here is to, or the challenge here is to use the drone, the walkthroughs, and understand what are all the activities that happen on ground. I'm not sure exactly what is green or brownfield. I think most of these are brownfield sites. None of them are greenfield sites. These are all existing streets with existing life in them. So pretty much they're all brownfield. We don't want a 3D model, but we do expect a 3D rendering visualization. So it is up to you on what software you use. I think we have, there should be some sort of a visualization of what the future of this particular public space will look like. Of course, does it have to be an original concept, or can we take reference from some foreign concept? I think I'm not going to pinpoint on that because I leave that is for each individual team to decide. In the end, we are going to select what is best suited for that site depending on the context currently, and that will purely depend on how well the activity mapping is done by the teams. So it is the teams are have complete freedom to choose something from a local context to something completely out of India altogether. So I hope I have answered most of what Purnesh's questions were. I think Drishti, of course, colleague Drishti has been answering most of the questions on the chat box, so I hope that is clear. With the question from Rashi, is saying that also we saw that there are few vacant plots in various sites. Do we need to consider the ownership of the land while making our proposal? I would say no. Please not try, but please stick to what is within the right of way, because some of these lands, while they're vacant, the ownership is questionable. Some of them are private, some of them could be government. Unfortunately, we don't have that level of detail right now. So just to simplify things, please restrict your designs only to the right of way, because we know that is a public right of way for sure. There is a question from, I don't know who, it's an anonymous question, but if we want to increase the size of the road, are we allowed to do so? You are allowed to change the carriageway as long as it's within the ROW. There is no question of, changing the right of way. You cannot change that, but the number of lanes in the carriageway can be changed as per your need. But I would like to clarify not only to this particular person, but also to all the teams that what we are looking for in this design competition is spaces for people and, people-centric design and not car-centric or vehicle-centric. So I hope that gives a good clue for everyone on what we are expecting, frankly. I think so. Please just keep that in mind. So no change in ROW will be allowed. In terms of encroachments, if you have identified any encroachments, I think it should be probably part of your activity mapping. It should be mapped in that and shown in your analysis. And yes, you can put it. You can say that yes, if it's an encroachment, it can be removed. We don't have any issues with that because encroachments are within the ROW, and there's no issues in having those removed. There's one more question from Rashi, which Drishti has already answered in the chat box. So there is one more question again from I don't know who, but are we allowed to relocate street vendors and or create parking provisions for current unorganized parking? As I mentioned, yes, it purely depends on how you approach this particular design problem. Or the problem of the city. But as I mentioned again, we are looking for human-centric design and not something for cars and two-wheelers to take over. If you notice all the drone videos and all the walkthroughs, most of these public spaces are already completely encroached and taken over by cars. So I'm not sure what value add will it bring, if you just design for more cars. So just please keep that in mind. On the D Park road, are we allowed to take park? Yes, I think Drishti has just answered it. So with D Park and with any other park or any other site, I think which has a park within the ROW, please do consider that. You can. There is, of course, please do consider that there will be no cutting of trees allowed, or rather we would not encourage it, or we would not be too thrilled to see if trees are being cut in the public space. So, because obviously there's nothing good that's going to come out of that, so please do consider that. Then there is again, most of the references we saw on WRS Twitter handle had some sort of painting and artwork in the same. Artwork is the same expected. Again, I think I would just say that please, everyone is free to do whatever they want, as long as it makes the life and space much better for the people over there. So if you think street art is necessary, and yes, I would completely agree, street art does play a big role in improving the quality and also improving the visual quality of the space. So I would say yes, please go ahead. There's nothing wrong in doing so. It only enhances the quality of the public space. So that was it. Is there any other questions? Okay, there's one more from, okay, I think that's the same from Purnesh, basically the same question. Anything else? And we just hold on. Okay, so I think Yeah, if there are any other questions, please just type them now, because I think we have answered whatever has been written here. If there are anything else, of course, you could also email, but we would like to keep this, uh, in mind. So do we keep in mind any budget too? There is no budget to it as of now, but you know, we do, we are looking at this as a live project. This program, this whatever submissions that come as part of this competition for all the 9 sites, they will be submitted to the Rohtak administration, and the hope is that they will also be able to implement it. So what you really need to keep in mind is also that if it is a proposal that is far too expensive, then there will be a high chance it may never get built. So do keep budget in mind, and but also make sure it, of course, does not limit you, because as I said, there is no fixed number to any of this. But as you design it, this was a good question though, but as you keep designing, do keep in mind, the whole economic sustainability of the program and the project and the design itself. That is one. The one more question: does the footpath on Deep Park Road part of the? Of course, yes. Footpath is always part of ROW. What is not part of ROW is your compound wall and anything inside the compound wall or the building. Those are not part of ROW. So right of way is basically one edge of the building to the other edge. Either it can be a compound wall or it can be a building edge, but the edge to edge is what you call the right of way. And everything within the right of way is considered to be then public. Anything that's built by a private person is then considered to be an encroachment. So I hope that clarifies what an ROW is. Can we expect any extension in deadline? I am not sure as of now. It will purely depend on multiple factors, but as of now, we will stick to the deadline, because we do think the concept, the first submission, the stage 1 submission is doable, but we will take a call much later. If there are multiple requests, then we will take a call. I don't think I'm in a position to answer it as of now. We have to submit proposal of all 3 sites. I think that is purely depending on the team and the capability of the team. We do encourage you to submit 3 sites if you can. But if you're not able to, that does not mean you will be disqualified from the ones you have submitted. We will just take the submission that you have given. But I would encourage teams to submit as much as possible, simply because, as I mentioned earlier, this is a live project. It will be submitted to the Rohtak administration, and frankly, more the entries, the better it is for the city also to choose from them. So please do submit, but we completely understand, due to time constraints and other reasons, you may not be able to do so, but it's not compulsory. Where can we find the drone videos? So Drishti has just answered that each of the site has its own folder system. So please do explore it. It is very clear cut how the entire hierarchy and the folder system works. So if you go into every site, it will have all the details that you need, all the way from drone videos to walkthroughs to site photographs to, I think, also a description of the site in a note form also. So please look through the folder system carefully and you'll find whatever you need to. Do we have to write a note separately? Means other than, no, I think the concept note has to be part of your 3 A3s. But please do make sure that the font size is legible and you don't micro font it, that becomes difficult for us to read. But the concept note is part of your 3 A3 sheets. This is, of course, please do remember that this is 3 A3s is per site and not all the 3 sites together. So every site there has to be 3 A3s minimum. Should we follow any particular guidelines that the one in URDP FI for the proposal? So I think, look at all the, there are no specific guidelines we are going to say that you need to follow. What we are frankly looking for is more of a visionary sort of a program or a project on how you think the space can be done better. Especially as I mentioned, we want a more human-centric design, that a space that makes lives of the people living there and visiting there much better. And so there's no specific guidelines. We are going to evaluate more on the quality of your design and the quality of space that you make, rather than which guideline you have used or which standard you have used. Then what else is temporary solutions or permanent? I'm not sure. Basically, see, the way it is of course, we do want the final product, of course, is going to be a permanent solution. But as mentioned in the terms and conditions and the way the stages are done, once the shortlist, once we sort of finalize on the winner, we will be conducting a tactical urbanism intervention on some of the selected sites and try it out for 15 days before, after which we can then go ahead with the final designs. But the end goal of this particular competition is to have, whatever has been designed to be built on ground. Tactical urbanism is just a means to achieve that final goal. It is not the goal by itself. I hope I have been able to clarify that with Ranjana. I think Drishti, all the 3 sites we selected are approved to work upon. Yes, I think we have got approval from the Rohtak administration. It's not just the 3 sites, it's all the 9 sites. Just the brief of the project itself, we have been working with Rohtak administration for last 4 years now. We have worked on several children safety related work there, and this is the phase 2, which focuses on youth and the public spaces that youth hang out in. So Rohtak administration is well aware of the work that we have been doing and what our end goal is in Rohtak. And that's basically making this public spaces and streets safer and more comfortable for its users. Yes, the only thing is, of course, I cannot give you a date on when these will be constructed, but there's definitely some promise from the administration, on that they will take this forward. They are in fact also one of the partners in this particular program. Drishti has answered the next one. Any proper norms will be considered while designing, or it may be free from. As I said, there is no norms, as long as the only sort of rule or guideline is it has to be human centric. It has to be from the drone images, from the drone videos, from the walkthroughs. You'll clearly realize that these are not spaces meant for humans. These are not spaces that are comfortable to walk. They are not safe to, navigate around, especially for young kids or for elderly. And we want designs, that cater to these needs. So, as I mentioned, there is no guidelines, norms, or manuals, but rather the vision is what we are, looking for here. Should one avoid too idealistic situation type of proposals? And it's sort of hard to answer this. We would want something that is, doable, something that is doable by the administration. It can be doable in terms of design. Somebody had asked about the budget. It has to be doable in terms of the budget. It has to be doable in terms of the technology. It has to be doable in terms of the material availability. I think all of you out there are all designers, and all of you know, in terms of what kind of sustainability norms that we have to follow out there. We live in a world that is, fast becoming more and more chaotic. There's climate change, a lot of issues that you can look into. You have complete freedom to do whatever you need to do, as long as it's sustainable, as long as it's equitable. That's what I think, as I mentioned, that's the larger vision that we really care about. But design point of view, you have complete freedom.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I think we are not going to assess you on the or designs on the basis of how how expensive they are or cheap they are. the competition, the jury will only assess the design. But please do try to remember that whichever are the winning designs, we intend to get them implemented. So make your designs which are implementable, which you think would be feasible for the government to implement. But at least at the conceptual stage, you can go into the ideal world situation. But also, try to be on the, on the grounds.
Yes, be grounded, yes.
Be grounded.
All right, next question is, are we supposed to reduce vehicle production in the sites? Like, is it that we have to make it pollution less? Yes, I mean, we would encourage that. But as I mentioned, once you see the drone videos, you see the walkthroughs, you do your activity mapping, let that be the final judge, or let that be the clues for how you want that space to be or what that space should be. Because this question is, of course, it seems very directive, and I don't think I want to be given an answer that's that way. I will only give suggestive answers on how you go about it. The second part of it, keeping the population constant and increasing open space, can we promote vertical development because we can't extend the land? Whatever you do, it has to be within the ROW. I think that's the bottom line, because you cannot change the buildings that are there. You cannot change the facade of the building. Yes, maybe some street art is fine, but not any major changes. But buildings cannot be changed. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure the densification part of it is not going to be possible because that obviously is outside the purview of the government. It is for the private developer to do so or can do so. So I would say no to the second bit.
I think up to facade is all right. If you have you are planning to give some facade rules or how a particular street should have a particular facade, all that is fine. But again, stick only to the ROW. The project is around streets and public spaces as streets as public spaces. So try not to go beyond the ROW.
So there are, of course, there is one site which is within the ROW, which is the Bhagat Singh parking. So the ones who have taken up Kila Road as one of their sites, the Bhagat Singh parking is also as part of the ROW, and it is a public building. So we of course we can't densify it or make it, but there can be major changes possible in the facade for that particular building, because it is a government entity. I think Drishti has answered the next question. And also the next question, do we need to design the entire stretch of the street or only junctions? I think all streets that are there in your total station survey have to be designed. Everything within the ROW has to be designed, because one of the key things with street design is that you cannot look at one street independently. They are all connected in a network, and whatever happens in the side street does influence on the main and vice versa. So that's why we have also made sure our survey drawings are, I think, up to 30 meters into all the side streets. So please do that. Do make sure that your designs also, cover the side streets irrespective of what the right of way may be. Should we focus on roads measurements, fire department approvals, and $15 formula? Frankly, I'm not sure what the $15 formula is, but yes, do consider the fire safety point of view because yes, of course, in certain sites it will not be possible, and Kila Road is definitely one of those exceptions because by ROW it is a very narrow street. But the other ones, yes, do consider fire safety in terms of how access to emergency will happen and whatever that needs to be done for it. between. All right, the next question is the survey maps which are given for each site. All the streets given in each drawing should be taken as part of the design. Yes, as I mentioned, all the streets have to be designed that are there in your total station survey simply because of the fact that streets only work in a network and whatever happens in one street will influence the side streets and vice versa. So you have to take it up and design it. Of course, please do remember that most of these side streets are really narrow. So the quantum of work that requires for that side street is not going to be as much as the main street because I think the main street is 15 to 20 meters wide. Most of these side streets are 6 to 9 meters only. So there's really not much you can do, but the reason why we want to do it is so that it looks all integrated and as part of one holistic design. So any other questions, please do keep adding that. And I think we'll wait for the 5 minutes before we can close the quick Q&A session, and hopefully we will have the speaker or one of the jury members join us, and we'll have a one-on-one conversation. I think please make sure you are, you do see that also because there is a lot of learning from Mr. Kavach Kapadia. He is a very experienced architect and he has a lot of knowledge to share with you all. Also, please do watch the one-on-one conversations that we had with Sujata Hingorani and Arvind Uni. If you haven't done so, there is a lot to learn from them too, and also a lot to learn on what they are expecting from all of the participants of this particular competition. What is that they expect from this competition in terms of drawings, in terms of the vision, in terms of the philosophy of the design. So please, if you haven't watched these videos yet, please do access the link. I think Drishti can just share the link again to the videos, and please do watch that if you haven't. So we'll wait for 5 minutes till our speaker joins in, and if you do have any questions, please do keep adding them. We will be happy to. Are you allowed to raise again? It's up to you. Again, if you have rightful reason or rightful case to do so, please do. I'm not going to give a yes or a no answer. There has to be a justification for everything that is being done there. So we'll leave that to you. Couldn't we be doing some? Yes, but please do remember that. Okay, we will be publishing that. So there was one question about can we have animated videos? Yes, you can, but that is, I think, at the stage 3. You don't need to do this for the stage 1 because stage 1 is just the 3 A3 sheets that we require with your concept note. So please don't put in too much energy in making videos right away. If you do qualify for the 3rd stage, that's when when the final presentation is to be made. You can make your animated videos then, but don't work on it right away. Are we allowed to change the slope of the road? I think the same answer as are we allowed to raise part of the road. I'm not going to give a yes or a no as long as you have a justification for it. Please do remember when you change the slope of the road, it does affect multiple things like drainage. While you may clean up this road from flooding, you'll end up flooding other streets also. So while every answer that you put out there will have maybe 3 to 4 questions that will also come along. So it will be up to you to see, on your own talent to see how many questions you get for every answer or every line you draw, how many questions you're able to answer yourself. Are we getting a recording of this session? I think Vaibhav.
Yes, we are recording this session. I'll send you I'll send the recording on the mail also. But please keep looking at the Urban Labs page. Again, we'll put the link here. All the updates about the competition, any changes in the schedule or anything will be done on the website. We'll put that link here. And the recording for this session also will put the link to that.
All right, we have a few more questions coming in. What is the conversation with the jury?
Right. Some of the jury members would be coming in 5-7 minutes.
Yeah, so we have architect Kavas Kapadia will be joining in right now. With the other two conversations, as I mentioned, it's already there on the website. So Drishti will be sharing the link again on the chat box here. You can just access the link and watch the conversation with Arvind Unni and Sujata Hingorani on the website. The Kavas Kapadia conversation will start anytime soon once he joins it. There's a question from Shakshi for the medical road side. Would like to know the bus routes. So that basically the medical mode, the medical road is the road where the bus actually goes. It goes all the way. So if you look at the drone image, basically if you follow the drone video, that's basically the route of the bus. It takes you to the emergency and the OPD wards of the PGIMS hospital there. And that, of course, it's as mentioned earlier by Vaibhav, most of Rohtak is actually catered to by share autos. The share auto system there is the public transport system. Buses were just very recently introduced into the city some 6 months ago, and they have only 5 to 6 buses in total. So in terms of how many passengers they carry, that's very, very minuscule compared to share autos. But just to answer the question, in terms of the medical road, the buses do run on this, while from medical mode all the way to the OPD. There's one more question. People in Rohtak have some advantage. Is there any way to normalize? As I am working from Dehradun. Yes, there is. Yes, they will have an advantage for students or professionals who are in Rohtak right now. But we have tried to negate this as much as possible by making sure the participants who are not from Haryana or not from Rohtak have the maximum possible information through the drone, through the voiceover on the drones, through the walkthroughs, and through the photographs. So we are quite confident we have not missed out on much. We have also made sure there is day drone videos and night videos and night photography so that there is a sort of equal playing field with most of them. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we don't expect many people to travel, and that's why we decided to go this way. If there are any questions, for any other participants, if you have any specific questions, please do write to us, and we will try and answer them to our best possible knowledge. You can email us, and we will definitely reply to these questions at the earliest and to our best possible knowledge, in order to make sure that everyone has the best sort of level playing field here. So Drishti has shared the links of the YouTube. These are the one-on-one conversations with Arvind Unni and Sujata. So as I mentioned, for those who haven't watched it yet, please do so. She's just put them in the chat box right now. I think this is the same question as somebody from Dehradun had put. I'm frankly, I'm not sure there will be participants from Rohtak because there are few architecture schools in Rohtak. Of course, also the thing is we don't know if they are living in Rohtak right now because the university is closed. They are probably back in their hometown, but they would have an advantage, yes, because they have lived in Rohtak pre-COVID. But there's very little any one of us can do. The maximum that we could do was to give you as much information as possible. And please stay assured that we have done that. It is not that we are trying to give an advantage to the students of Rohtak. Whatever information is there is available to everyone. So the next question is, should we measure roads with a measuring device like in the night when people travel less? I'm not sure exactly what the question is, but the total station survey is available. You can pretty much measure whatever that you need to measure because it is to scale and it is done recently. So use the total station survey for that. In terms of a subjective measurement on how much effective carriageway is used, I think you'll get a good idea through the drone videos on, how much of the ROW is actually used for driving versus how much of it is used for walking, cycling, parking, vending. So both there are night and day drone videos. So you can get a good idea from that itself. As Rishiyal mentioned, please use the total station survey. We have put in all this effort exactly for this reason that participants who will not be able to visit or cannot visit have all the information, and the total station survey is exactly for that particular reason. So please use the total station, and for any other extra information, use all the drone videos, walkthroughs, and photographs that we have uploaded. So we just give us a few minutes. Jury member will be joining, and I think we are probably having some tech related issues, so I was just sorting that out. But I don't think there are any more questions. I hope that I have answered. Actually, there are more questions. Or can you publish them so everybody can see? All right, so more questions. Sakshi has. Can I request you to clear my earlier doubt completely? Is the bus route on the medical road a loop? No. So it's not a loop. So the PGIMS is actually sort of the destination for the bus route. So the buses enter from medical mode. They go to the OPD. Where all passengers get off. It generally waits there for 5 to 10 minutes, frankly, depending on how many passengers get in. And then it comes back on the same route to medical mode. That's pretty much it. It's not a loop, so it terminates in OPD, the bus station, and that's how the share autos also work. From medical mode, they go towards OPD, wait there, and then come back the same road. There are, however, no set bus stops because, as I mentioned, Rohtak is a city that pretty much runs on share autos, so there's never been any fixed bus stops anywhere in the city. So same thing works with if the bus is going on the road and somebody flags it down, the bus just ends up stopping wherever the person flags it and picks the passenger or drops the passenger and continues with his journey. I hope Sakshi have been able to clarify on that. Then there's one more. Okay, Drishti has answered this. Should we do parking analysis using ArcGIS Pro? I would suggest not. I think we have given you the maximum information possible regarding the parking. I don't see how ArcGIS is going to add any value to it. Also, as I mentioned, please remember that it's the vision part of things that we are looking at first, especially during the concept note, the first stage of this proposal. So don't get into too much technicalities and numbering. Instead, what we're looking for stage one is more on how would you envision this space to be, whatever site you have selected, but how do you think it should be in the future? What is the larger vision? What we want to really look into. Please tell us the final product or vision is to increase public space and make the living smooth. Yes, right. I think I've told multiple times, but yes, the idea is to make the space better for people. How do you make it more inclusive? How do you make it more equitable? I think this, and how do you make it more sustainable? We want the designs to align with these larger goals, simply because they are not these right now. We want them to be spaces, where it attracts people, and it attracts people, and makes it safer for them and a much pleasurable experience for them to come there. Because some of these streets are shopping streets, some of these streets are food streets, and some of these streets are just hangout spaces where college students come. And I think you will know that through the descriptions in the drone voiceovers that we have given. You will realize each street has its own character. So we want something that is unique to each street and addresses the sort of character of that particular street itself. All right, so we just have an update. So yeah, there is slight delay again from architect Kavas Kapadia. He's not able to join, so we're just resolving his tech-related issues. So yes, we have maybe 5 more minutes again for more questions. If
We will try to do it today itself.
Yes.
In case sir is not able to join, then we, just like the other jurors, will record the conversation and share it with you. We'll wait for another 5 minutes for him to join.
All right, more question coming in. Are you looking mainly from Sakshi? Are you looking at mainly temporary solutions? No. Temporary, the tactical urbanism is only, as I mentioned, is just a means to the end goal. The goal is to submit these designs to government for them to build it. Whoever is the winning entry or the winning proposal, we would want to submit it to the Rohtak administration or the concerned department and have it built. So I hope I've clarified that. Should we, Drishti is answering to side by side? Yes, we do want street mix sections, especially for stage 1. I think don't get intimidated by the name. If you open street mix and check, it is actually a very, very user-friendly software. It is free to use. All you need to do is just log in with either your Facebook or Twitter or any other ID, and you can save the images. But please do use Street Mix if you haven't done so. And I would also encourage you to continue to use Street Mix after this competition is over for the other projects, as an architect, as a student, or as a professional, in your career. Please do use Street Mix. It's really helpful. Especially for urban design and street design related projects, because it is extremely user friendly. It is very intuitive sort of software, and it's a fun tool for everyone to use. We will encourage you all to use. I mean, it is compulsory first of all to use Street Mix for the stage 1. And if you do continue to use it for the stage 2 and stage 3 proposals, if you do qualify, we are more than happy with that also. More. The question on groundwater, is there groundwater depletion problems in this place? From what I know is the answer is actually no. apparently Rohtak has a pretty high water table, and this is something which we have come to know from several engineers who we have interacted with in Rohtak. They have said that the groundwater situation is good, but please don't take that as a reason on not to have better groundwater recharge. I don't. It's just that yes, there is not a problem, but that should not stop you from making the design more sustainable. So if you do have any solutions on improving or recharging groundwater and making sure flooding doesn't happen or the rainwater does not get washed away and or gets evaporated, yes, please, you are encouraged to go ahead and give any such proposals. So I think we have sort of exceeded our time. All right. So I think we'll give it another 2 minutes. If we are not able to connect with architect Kavas Kapadia, then as Vaibhav mentioned, we will record it separately because obviously the tech issue seems to be quite a big problem and we are not able to resolve it remotely right now. So we will just give you a final answer in a couple of minutes. If you're not able to connect, then we will disconnect now if there are no other questions. And basically then send you the link through email once the recording is done, when we are done with the conversation. Also, I think we're still having more questions coming in though. Let me publish them first so that everybody can see. So there's one more. We saw that there were a few vacant plots in various slides. Do we need to consider the ownership of the land while making our proposal? The vacant plots are outside the right of way, so it is not part of the design because frankly, as I mentioned earlier, and we are not sure about the ownership because finding the ownership for us meant going through land records and going through multiple other agencies, which we were not able to do so. So please don't consider the vacant plots as part of your design. Just leave them vacant as it is, because they could be private lands or government lands, but it is not public space technically. So it will not be. If you don't consider this part of your design, that's fine. Can we have more slides on climate? I'm not sure what that means, but I'm going to assume that if you're saying that your design needs to be climate inclusive, climate adopted, then yes, please do so. As I mentioned, it is basically as long as there is a justification for what you're doing, and if that justification makes sense to us, then we will be happy to see those solutions. So, I think the vision, the principles, the concept, they are all, you have complete freedom to choose, the theme, if there is a theme to your design, or there are different themes to each of your site, you're most welcome to, choose whatever theme you would like to. If it wants to be climate inclusive, please do so. Okay, more questions coming in. In the video, water stagnation was mentioned. Should we tackle the slope and water stagnation issues? Well, the answer, as I said, is there are multiple ways to address water stagnation issues. So I think I'll leave that to you to decide which is the best solution. Because there was a question on can we change the slope, there was a question on can we change the height. And if you think that's the most feasible or the most best option, please do so. I mean, there is no one straightforward answer. There are multiple solutions now. There are a lot of tech-driven solutions also. But then we have to look at this as a complex environment. So when you have a solution, what does it cost? What does it mean? So there are multiple things, if feasible enough or not. So please consider all of this in mind while doing that. There's a question on what if we get highly complicated but budget-friendly technology solution for some issues, but if they're not available in India, well, that basically answers your question. If we do end up having things that are not available in India, first of all, I doubt it will be budget-friendly. Second is, it is going to be difficult to procure that if it's not available in India, and that itself sort of answers the feasibility of the solution itself. So please keep that in mind. And if we do want a more sustainable solution, of course, the word sustainability is very open-ended, but the idea is at least we should think about solutions that are actually possible to be built. Please do consider that in mind. I think that will help a lot. Also, please remember that solutions need not be tech heavy also. The solutions can be quite simple, but as long as it answers to the three main things about sustainability, about equity, about safety, about comfort of people there living there. So keep all of that in mind. Bottom line is there's never one single right answer, or there's never one single answer to these complex issues of urban spaces. Urban spaces are generally very complicated environments that we have to balance things about. So it is about weighing your pros and cons. That's what I would say. So I will leave that to you, and how. Also, the challenge for you also is not about just the site, but the challenge is also about how you present to us. The challenges that you had and the solutions you bring in. How well you can present that to us in the best possible form, especially considering that you have three A3 size sheets, at least for the stage one. So that is basically your canvas to give us your solution. Yeah. Okay, so we have just got an update from architect Kavas Kapadia. Unfortunately, he is not able to connect, and unfortunately, we are not able to help him troubleshoot the issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this conversation with him tomorrow. Once the conversation is over, the video will be uploaded on YouTube. It will also be uploaded on the Mara Rohtak page. We will also try and make sure that we will also send the link to all the participants here who have registered, and all the participants who have not been able to be present here on the call today. So we will make sure all of that happens. But we were hoping the conversation will happen today, but unfortunately, the tech problems have sort of taken over the conversation. So we will have it tomorrow with him, and yeah, you can watch it later on at your own page. Just a minute. And as I mentioned earlier, so if there are any other questions, we will address them through email now. We will also make sure that everybody has access to these questions and the answers we give to those particular questions. So with this, we will now close the call. I hope you have all got all the information possible that you were looking for. And it should be now, full steam ahead for all of you. And hopefully we will now get all your proposals on the scheduled date. I wish you all the very best. We're looking for some amazing proposals from you guys. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to email us and we will answer them at the earliest possible time. So once again, all the very best and yes, bye. Stay safe.